Our community contributes new features. We manage all of those contributions. So in our last release, we got some very, very nice Flash-based charting capabilities that actually came from one of our systems integration partners out there in the field working with a customer, said, I can make Pentaho do something that it couldn't do before. And it's in their best interest to contribute that back to us, such that we maintain it, we support it in production, we upgrade it in the next release, things of that nature. What we do as a commercial company then is take this engine of innovation and quality and testing and such, and really make it safe for use, essentially. You know, business intelligence success and long-term success isn't just about getting a tool or getting that tool deployed. It's about an ongoing vendor relationship. It's about ongoing stability. It's about living through upgrades, patches, those kinds of things. And that's really what Pentaho brings on board to supplement that community model. Professional quality assurance, professional engineering, professional product management, product roadmaps that we publish on our website and such, and provide technical support behind it, software maintenance as well. So all the things you need. It kind of brings a lot of the good things about something like Wikipedia, where there's a huge amount of contribution, a lot of people involved, but also takes away maybe some of the negatives of Wikipedia. On Wikipedia, I think anybody can just go post something. That's not how it works with us. We manage and rationalize any and all of those, and scrutinize any and all of those contributions, and we kick them out or don't accept them when they don't conform to our requirements. A couple of analyst quotes. IDC has talked about how, and these are all publicly available, they're linked off the Pentaho website. IDC's talked about how open source is the most significant IT trend in more than 20 years. Bigger than client server, bigger than the move to thin client applications. This is a very, very, very big deal for IT and presents a very, very big opportunity for IT organizations. Gartner Group also, you know, one of the conversations that frequently comes up when we're working with prospects out there is quality of support. So most of the people in the room, given your backgrounds, probably are familiar with Gartner's Business Intelligence Magic Quadrant. As part of that, they survey a few dozen customers from every BI vendor out there. What they found in their surveys was that Pentaho's customers rated us higher for customer satisfaction than any of the mega vendors. So it's not really so much about a stat of, you know, we have tech support people in 60 different countries or those kinds of things. This is about making customers successful, and those customers really standing up and saying, hey, I'm successful, I'm getting great service and support from Pentaho. And then the one other thing I thought was worth pointing out here, Gartner has talked about, you know, what's driven the interest in open source BI, people's desire to reduce costs, so at least explore lower cost alternatives. And they also highlighted Pentaho. We're not the only company that goes to market in a commercial open source model in business intelligence. We are the one, in Gartner's opinion, that provides the closest functional match to traditional product lines from folks like Cognos and Business Objects. From a customer perspective, we work with organizations of all sizes. We have some that are Fortune 500 companies with very large rollouts. Good example, just in June we announced Specsavers. They're kind of Europe's LensCrafters, if you will. Largest ever open source BI rollout to 2,000 stores, 2,000 servers, multiple countries. But we work with some very, very big brand names and support some very large deployments. We also work with some smaller family-owned businesses. We have some customers who are below 50 million a year in run rate. So if you think that Pentaho or open source BI are specifically a fit for real small companies or only a fit for real big companies, in reality, we're making people successful across all industries and at all sizes. In terms of how people approach this, because I'm guessing that most of the people in the room already have existing BI investments, we see people do a few different things. Coexistence is probably the most common model. University of Montreal is a great example. Business Objects and Oracle customer, successful Business Objects and Oracle Business Intelligence customer went through as a new department needed to come online with BI, evaluated their alternatives, and ultimately chose Pentaho based on being easier to deploy and integrate and being lower cost than those solutions. So they're not walking away from any investments in Business Objects. It's not invalidating anything they've done. They just have another department. They have another set of user requirements. They found Pentaho to be the best fit. Co-deployment happens a lot as well. We have one of our great reference customers uses our BI tools along with SQL Server integration services and the SQL Server database platform. We've got folks like Zip Realty who use Pentaho for the data integration piece, but use the MicroStrategy BI tool set on top of that. So lots of examples where we're supporting the same implementation, same business users side by side with third-party technologies for BI or ETL. And replacement, this has certainly become a much hotter topic over the last 12 months. I can tell you one of the things that has triggered a lot of our inbound inquiries people getting a maintenance bill from their existing vendor that says, hey, in 90 days, here's what you have to pay to re-up your next year's maintenance. And they call us and say, hey, I'm motivated, spend the next 89 days with me, help me understand, give me what I need to know to understand if I have a real alternative in Pentaho. And so more and more what you see if you hit our website, look at the customer announcements, you see replacements of Hyperion, see replacements of business objects, etc. It's happening more and more these days. Real quick proof points. People will tell you that a solution like Pentaho is not going to be enterprise class. Lots of great application examples there. Every single ticket Frontier Airlines has sold over the last 6 years, analyzed in one database with Pentaho's OLAP capabilities. Talked about Specsavers, trade doubler, peak load volumes of more than 300 rows per second. Great showcase deployment actually with our partners from Infobright who are here in the room. Infobright has come to market really bringing the commercial open source model to the data warehouse platform space. So they're a great complement to Pentaho. One side is sort of housing and managing the data and providing fast query performance. The other side is putting that in the hands of business users. And my last slide, pop quiz. How many open source technology providers are on today's panel? Pentaho, Microsoft, SAP, IBM. How many people think one? How many people think two? Anybody think 3 or 4? Okay, one in the back. So the answer is 3 or 4 depending on how you view it. Folks who ship a lot of open source technologies with their product lines would be business objects and Cognos. Here's just a quote from Rob Ash of Cognos talking about how they already roll more than 25 different open source components into the Cognos stack. And Microsoft more recently has been contributing to open source and actually starting new open source projects. So the thought I'd like to leave you with here is that I'm going to ask you to consider open source technology from Pentaho for BI, the same reason that these big vendors have chosen open source to integrate into their stacks. Because it costs less and it works. They proved it to themselves. I'm inviting you to prove it to yourself. Pentaho Solutions, this book just came out. It's available on Amazon. I didn't get my copy in time to bring to the session, so whoever wins that, I'll get your business card and send it to you. It's up to date with our latest 3.5 release, and I would certainly encourage you to check out the Pentaho website. Customer examples, there's a live Pentaho application online, so you can just play with it through the website. Obviously, you can download it and try it out, hook it up to your data and such. Just a great wealth of resources out there to help you get successful in your investigation, and certainly we hope your deployment of Pentaho for BI. And that's it. Thanks very much. All right.
Thank you very much, Lance. Hat or bag, what do you think?
No, I'll take the bag.
You can take the bag? Now, that's not just because you feel guilty about the hats, right? No, it's all good. Okay, all right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, Lance let the cat out of the bag. We have books from each of our vendors that are going to be the giveaways, and I think I've got the results tallied. So if you have not sufficiently bribed someone to say that they brought you today, you should do that quickly and make sure that Sarah or Jen are aware of it. Let's say Sarah has to be aware of it. Also, I didn't receive near the number of votes. I think someone may have been fibbing earlier when they said that they had voted for breakfast because I don't have enough votes. So we look like we have a winner, but I want your vote to count, you know, so no hanging chads or anything like that. Get your vote in. Also questions. We don't have nearly the number of questions I was hoping for from folks actually here. I've got a bunch that came in on the email address, so definitely want your questions answered, not just here, but in perpetuity through the comparative matrix we're going to do. So if you've got those questions, get either ballots or questions to Jen, business cards or bribes and so forth to Sarah for gifts. And with that, without further ado, come on up. IBM's up next. So take just a couple of minutes and get some coffee and so forth, and we'll be right back with IBM.